What's going on, YouTube? This is Jimophanis, aka vypermajik, and while I'm playing some Destiny Crucible, I thought I would talk about the newest expansion that's coming out for Destiny, The Dark Below. Now, if you are like me and you bought the Ghost Edition, you're going to get this and the next expansion for free. If you didn't, it's going to cost you 20 bucks. So, what does this new expansion detail? Well, it says it's got new weapons, armor, gear. The maximum light level has been raised to 32. There's a new cooperative strike, 3 new multiplayer arenas, 3 new story missions, and a new 6-player raid. I'd like to point out that the PlayStation owners will get a second strike as well. It says, beneath the surface of the moon, a long forgotten enemy awakes. And you're going to be meeting up with a new tower character called Eris, who has come forth bearing an ominous warning. The Hive seek to summon Crota to destroy the Earth. And then there's some pictures on the website of some of the new gear you're going to get. I have to say it looks pretty damn cool. At least the stuff they're showing. I don't know if this is going to be just the new exotics or legendaries or new models altogether. But there is a gun that looks like a shark, which looks badass. And I will post a link to this, by the way, in the description if you want to click through the official website and see it for yourself. Now, I gotta say, before I deep dive into the rest of this, I am not a big fan of us introducing a new character. I don't really know who Eris is, and frankly, I don't care. Now, what I do care about is the queen that we met before, and her brother slash bodyguard, or the female, I don't even know her name, the girl who's kind of with you during the story for a little while that you think is a guardian but isn't. There's a lot of backstory on existing characters that I think would be more important to deep dive rather than introduce somebody new. And in a previous video I made a complaint that, or a suggestion that, if in order for Destiny to quote-unquote fix itself, the characters, stories, and the lore would have to be better fleshed out. And it doesn't seem like they're taking that direction. Rather, it seems like they're doing the opposite and almost saying, at least from what I can tell, forget all that stuff. Now we're going to pick somebody new. And I gotta say, if the dialogue with Eris or the quests that revolve around Eris are as vapid as the other content is, then I'm going to really start to get worried about this game. Now, if this somehow ties into everything else and we get a better story of the existing characters, okay, maybe I could buy off on that, but I'm not a big fan of the direction they're taking, although I will remain cautiously optimistic. Okay, light level goes to 32. I don't know many people who are even light level 30. There are a few. I'm at 28, and I'm at that grind where I just have to constantly go. Right now it's helium filaments. That's where my big grinding is. I have finally got some decent ascendant shards and some ascendant energy, so I'm good there, but now I got to get helium filaments, and the grind is becoming very monotonous. I'll do just whatever the strike is on one of the harder levels. I haven't done the raid yet. So does 32 really do anything for me? No. If you gave me some new skills or you changed how light level works, that'd actually be pretty cool. If you fleshed out some of the statistics, such as the defense statistic, and actually made it mean something rather than just a number, that would be pretty cool. The same applies to weapon damage overall. I was screwing around with my new exotic weapon, Bad Juju, and I noticed that on a patrol mission in Earth, I was fighting level 4 dregs. I couldn't kill him in a single burst of my pulse rifle, which is 3 shots, by the way. So fix that. Let's not worry about increasing this arbitrary light level. Let's make the stats that are in game mean something. Just my criticism. Okay, so back to the expansion. The new Crucible, there's 3 new competitive arenas. The first is called Pantheon, and it looks like it takes place on Mars. An ancient temple has been recently claimed. Mastered the ins and outs of the ancient Vex architecture, and it looks like it supports 6-on-6, 3-on-3, and Rumble. And it's symmetric, so that's very interesting. Could be more of a competitive type map. We will see. It does say all modes supported, by the way, so I assume that also means Control and Clash and whatever else they do. The next one is called Sky Shock, and it takes place at Earth. Master multiple engagement distances on foot and on vehicles. Balance the risk and reward of multiple routes. So it looks all right. It kind of reminds me of the outside of where all the sky. I think it's called the Sky Yard, the Rocket Yard, where all the husks of the airplanes are. And then there's that building to the left of it where that captain always spawns every time, with the two drugs out front, and you go there and freaking every mission that you do. It looks very similar to that, so we will see what exactly that entails. And lastly, and by the way, that one only supports Clash and Control. And finally, you have the Cauldron, an abandoned hive site. The Cauldron has now been claimed by the Crucible. The center chamber is a choke point for intense close-range combat, and this is asymmetric, close quarters, all modes supported. I'm a big fan that they're doing new maps. I think this is actually a really good thing. The maps that are existing now, we need more of them. And I think 3 is a good start, but it'd be nice if there were more. More diversity helps a lot. You know, not to say that the multiplayer is stagnant. I mean, I'm doing a video of it now, and I'm having a freaking blast. However, more maps is always better. That's just a no-brainer. And I don't know the total count of maps that the game shipped with, but that's something that shouldn't be that hard to do. And I know there's level design that goes into it and everything, but, you know, not every map has to be perfect. Just put it out there and let somebody look at something new. In addition, there's a new cooperative strike called the Will of Croatia. And enter the Jovian Complex. If you remember playing around on Earth, I mentioned this in a previous video, that there is a part of Earth that you can go when you're in patrol called the Jovian Complex, and you walk up to it and the doors are locked. Well, kind of assumed that was going to be DLC. There were some leaked videos in the past on Reddit and other websites talking about that, and here you go, entering the Jovian Complex. You're going to fight Omnigul. Burn Omnigul with your nest of light. Destroy her and purge the vile spawn from Earth. And there's a screenshot of what I believe is Omnigul, and it looks pretty cool. There's also a new raid called Croatia's End, which is a new 6-player cooperative raid. So, I gotta say that, you know, I'm looking at the pictures that they've posted. I don't see, other than the new weapons, which look pretty damn cool, I don't see new enemy types. The missions aren't really laid out. I don't know. I'm skeptical about this. I gotta admit. Like I said, I feel as if the amount of detail in the previous original part of the game was really lacking. I really feel like there was a lot of story that we lost, and they really relied on the grimoire, or grimoire, or whatever it is, to kind of flesh out the story. And I felt like in this DLC they had a chance to kind of refix the foundation. I don't know if I'm such a big fan of them progressing forward with the story, because I'm not really sure a lot of people were satisfied by what the existing story was. So are we just supposed to pretend that everything didn't happen and move on? That's hard to do. And I always compare this to MMO, which to me is the gold standard in world. I compare this to Warcraft, which to me is the gold standard in MMOs, because I view Destiny as an MMO, whether they want to call themselves that or not. And that game has a very deep and rich story and some really good lore, and it really makes you care, you know, and the objectives and what you do and the progression that you take, it matters, and the world does evolve around you. And I'm seeing that it looks like the guys at Destiny are basically saying, hey, we had some story before, don't worry about it. The whole little thing with the Queen and the Reef, we'll deal with it later. We're going to just focus solely on this brand new character, and you're going to go off and do more things. And I don't know if that's the right decision. I can't see how I'm supposed to build any framework off of foundation, which I think is already broken. Now, I love the hell out of the game. I've said a zillion times, to me, it's my game of the year. I don't think it will be the game of the year. I'll do another video about that later on. But it's addicting as hell. And even though a lot of people are like me, are even burnt out on it, it's only because we've been playing for so freaking long. And it's just, you know, we've been burnt out just through playing it over and over and over. And it is cool they're throwing some new maps in, and they are mixing up some other things, but I would implore the folks at Bungie to take a good hard look at what they're doing with the story and realizing that this direction is just going to make it even worse. Anyways, that's a rundown of the new DLC and my thoughts on it. Do me a favor and comment, rate, subscribe, or do none of the above. That's all right too. Thanks for watching, and until then, I will see you guys on the other side.